concerned there was too much of a good thing. Yes, we were concerned, but we figured it was necessary. Steve Wiltfong, Thursdays with Wiltfong. Yes, he was here on Tuesday. We get to thank Matthew Burrell for an extra appearance from Steve this week. Steve, welcome to your normal time slot.
Hey, good to be back on with all you guys.
And thankfully, Ohio State, as they want to do, has provided plenty of recruiting fodder for Steve to discuss this morning. Steve, you had a bolt last night which touched on several really interesting topics, the first of which we are on commitment watch for Juwan Briscoe, the defensive back out of Waldorf, Maryland, who was once committed to Clemson. Steve, you had some really good stuff in there about Briscoe. Kind of bring us up to speed on how we got to this point and where you expect it to go from here and how long you expect commitment watch to last.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what Briscoe's timetable is going to be, but I'm on, I wouldn't be surprised if Juwan Briscoe or Brandon Bowen committed to Ohio State at any time, the offensive tackle that used to be committed to Utah and recently reopened. But regarding Briscoe, I was told by a source with knowledge of the situation last night that it was Ohio State or Clemson, and I know Bill Kierlich had some stuff on that as well. But my source thought that Briscoe was going to take his official visit to Clemson and end up sticking with the Tigers. But Clemson decided to cut bait with Briscoe last night, and for taking his visit, not sure what all went into that decision and the timing of it, because it's not like he was at Ohio State on Tuesday and then they cut bait on Wednesday. So not sure exactly what all went into that, but I do believe that Clemson was the party that decided to cut ties with Briscoe for visiting Ohio State, which opens the door for Ohio State. And I think Ohio State really likes Briscoe a ton. His senior film is fantastic, I'm told, and he's a guy that they definitely want in this class. And with Clemson no longer being on the table, it looks really good for Ohio State right now. With all that being said, I guess it's recruiting, and these kids change their mind all the time on the fly. I'm not saying Briscoe will, but you guys know how it is at this point. And so nothing's for sure, but I feel very good about where Ohio State stands with Briscoe, and I feel very good about where Ohio State stands with Brandon Bowen. And I'm starting to feel really good about where Ohio State stands with Neville Gallimore. Not that I didn't ever feel like they weren't in the picture, because I always thought they were in the top three, but really starting to like where the Buckeyes are at with Neville Gallimore, the top 50 defensive tackle, after talking with him on the phone for about 20 minutes yesterday.
Well, Steve, you just asked my next question in advance. As also part of the bolt you put up last night, you discussed your cloudiness on the Neville Gallimore situation, which is an improvement for Ohio State, considering you had him crystal balled elsewhere before that. Bring us up to speed on that, and I think Ohio State fans are certainly especially interested in the Gallimore recruitment, given their inability to produce backup interior defensive linemen here to be productive this season.
Sure. Well, talking with sources close to the situation with Gallimore regarding Florida State, and then talking with Gallimore's coach after that visit to Florida State, I thought that Florida State was the leader for Gallimore coming out of that visit, and they certainly very well could have been. But now I don't think that's true. Talking to Gallimore and his coach yesterday, and they did not say this, but the sense I got was that Oklahoma and Ohio State appear to be in the best shape. Jerry Montgomery from Oklahoma is doing a hell of a job recruiting Neville Gallimore, keeping in contact very, very regularly, and has really earned Neville's trust, and Neville feels very comfortable with Oklahoma. With that being said, the Buckeyes are the school that Gallimore is going to have seen the most by the time he makes his college decision. He's already been to Ohio State once. He then got a chance to go to Michigan State and watch Ohio State get a huge win on the road. And there's no question who Neville Gallimore was rooting for in East Lansing that night. And he was very excited to see Ohio State get that win. And now he's coming back for his official next weekend. And Larry Johnson and Urban Meyer have both been recruiting Gallimore. And he definitely feels very wanted with Ohio State. And another thing that Ohio State has going in their favor, and he touched on it in the article, but it just huge kudos to Justin Hilliard and Jayshon Cornell for making Neville Gallimore feel very comfortable with Ohio State. And Neville knows that if he goes to Ohio State, there's going to be guys like him that fit in the class. And I've talked to Gallimore several times, and I've never heard him say anything about the commits to the other schools he's considering. And so I do think that's an element to pay attention to with how comfortable Gallimore is with the guys that are already committed to Ohio State. And Gallimore's taking a surprise visit to Auburn this weekend. I think Auburn's playing catch-up right now. Someone asked me on the Bucknuts board yesterday. But Auburn's got a track record of being able to make up ground quickly, so we'll see what happens this weekend. And we'll see if Neville gets out to Oregon. That's where he was supposed to go this weekend, but that visit got canceled as Oregon told Neville that they wanted him to come when they had all the information in front of them, how many kids they're returning at his position and who may be leaving early for the NFL and whatever. So Gallimore going to Auburn this week, not going to Oregon. I think that Florida State would definitely still take Neville Gallimore, but they have some big fish on the board as well. Josh Sweat, Terry Beckner, and I know Terry Beckner's on Ohio State's board, but although Chris Ash has done a great job of getting over to East St. Louis, and when he's there, he does a great job. There has not been much interaction between Ohio State and Terry Beckner over the last couple months. We'll see if that changes now that Beckner's season's over. But Gallimore is looking like a great shot for Ohio State. And with Florida State, what they got going on down there, they may not even be in the mix for Gallimore moving forward, depending on how things shake out with some of the other fish on their board. So long story short, even though I gave you the long story, so now I'm giving you the punchline, I guess, could be Ohio State or Oklahoma for Neville Gallimore.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you question Steve Wiltfong's work ethic, you're in the wrong. There's no one better. There's no better way to start your day and talk Ohio State recruiting anywhere in the world than here in the DM5 with Steve Wiltfong. Steve, we appreciate your effort. We are also on Commitment Watch, so we could be hearing from you again very shortly. Thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it, guys. See you.